So, sometimes. Morning, everybody. How you all doing? There we go. We got it started. That's what's happening. Oh, man. It is April 18th. It is 3 days removed from filing your income tax. Now, some of y'all already been living real ghetto fabulous right about now, even before the 15th April came around. But it's going to get real sketchy out there here coming in the next couple of weeks when them returns really start popping in. Welcome to the show today. We're going to talk about a number of things. Obviously, the pause in action in Hormuz. We'll talk about uh, the Israeli Lebanon ceasefire that is going on as well. We'll talk about the murder suicide in Virginia. The gathering was called out last night by the Secretary of State. Yeah, Secretary of State of Nevada. He called it out, not directly, indirectly, but he said that he had just left a function on the historic west side of Las Vegas in which the people gathered asked about voting and what they felt was happening with the federal interference, if any, for the midterms coming up. So he around the roundabout called out the gathering last night. Definitely want to let Rodney know about that, shout him out, and the great work that all those who attend the gathering are doing. Even though WSO, the West Side Oasis, closed a couple weeks ago, it has continued at a different location, and I think he found something even more permanent that should be announced here soon, and we'll be going forward with that. Outside of that, y'all, it's been a busy ass week for me. I've had visitors in all week. I am drained. I am shutting down for today. Honestly, I need to recoup and recover, get my mind right so I can press forward into next week. I'm looking forward to next week. I get to go back to the East Coast, Upper East Coast, I should say. I'll be in Delaware for a day or two. I'm gonna shoot to New York while I'm there because it's been too long since I've been home. So I'll shoot to New York while I'm there, and then I'll shoot back down to Baltimore for a day or two, and then I'll be back, settle in, go through May. Yeah, that's right. The next month is May. God damn it, this year's going so fast. Go through May and see where I'm needed at throughout the month of May, and if it's calm there, then I'll chill. But if not, there's some things that I'm looking forward to. Looks like the Capital Jazz Fest is not going to happen this year, unfortunately. Very much looking forward to that. That is huge for me to not happen, but it's one of those things. It's out of my control. I can't sweat it. There's a jazz festival that happens in Jacksonville, Florida, though. So I intend on going to that. So I'm looking forward to doing that and going on from there. Brother Barry, what's happening with your family? How's it going?
Man, everything is going vainglorious, man. It ain't too bad with the weather. We had a couple good warm days, and then that 48 degrees creeped up on us yesterday. I think it's like 50 something today. But
50.
man, listen, this the Midwest,
When
especially
does it start getting warm for real?
well, some parts of the Midwest are already warm. We just live up in Canada right here. Technically, this is Canadian. but we gonna make it do what it do, man. I will tell people, and I say this all the time when it comes to us and the weather, that I feel like the weather in Minnesota, Chicago, Milwaukee, it really makes us cold towards each other as people.
Hmm.
It's so good to get out and travel abroad and really be around people, man, because you really don't see how your standoffish, grumpy personality is based off of this cold ass weather where you thinking about hibernating and you mad at you got to scowl when that hawk hit your face. You gotta frown up a little bit.
Yes.
But I just think that it's one of those things where we it kind of get funky. Now, when I was a kid growing up, around April, typically, like because that's my brother Lando, RIP to him. My cousin Landon, their birthdays were always the mark where I knew, like, okay, we ain't wearing coats no more. We got at least
There
got
you go.
a jacket on. It ain't been that way in the frozen tundra since I moved here. But back home in Indiana, man, they're warming up. So salute to all the people around the country, but especially those in the Midwest. Don't let that weather stop you from being warm with your people.
Speaking of birthdays and being warm with your people, I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. Last week was supposed to shout out Sister Angela. It was her birthday.
Ah,
So I want to shout, yeah, I want to shout her out officially. I apologize, sis. It was not intentional. We just got to going. You know how we do. It was one of those things that slipped my mind throughout the conversation. So I wanted to shout you out. Wish you a happy birthday.
you know what? Let me tag her
Addition,
one too.
okay. Additionally, um, you brought that up. Thank you. You were talking about being cold and being cold to one another. You know, I've said this before, and I will continue to say it until I see a bigger change in it. We got to speak to one another. We got to get back to speaking to one another. You
Yeah,
know, you don't have to have a full fledged conversation with the next person, but you at least need to acknowledge your brother and your sister as you walk around. And again, you don't have to have a full fledged conversation with one another.
yeah.
But there is nothing wrong with doing the universal what's up. There's nothing wrong with saying what's up. Just acknowledging one another. How can we build something if we don't even take the time to get to know one another? That is a huge issue. Speaking of building something, I've been doing this for the past week or two now, I think, taking the clips from the show and posting them to Instagram. It's worked pretty well. It's worked rather well, actually. We're getting a lot of traction on Instagram. Thank you all for checking us out there. Again, thank you all who are following us on YouTube and stuff like that. It's a good look. It's a good feeling. Thank you all, obviously, who log on with us in your Saturday morning, whatever time it is for you, wherever you be, rocking with us this early in the morning and stuff consistently. And that doesn't mean every week. I get it. Everybody has lives, things happen, so on and so forth. But we are going to be here way more often than not to support you all and give you the information that we've gathered throughout the week to disseminate and let folks know that yo, it ain't just us. They crazy over there too. Shit's real. People are doing some things. Black men are showing up. Black women are showing up. We are actually here putting in the work for the people to try to give useful and, as Sister Rashi says all the time, and she just joined us this morning, actionable information that you can utilize in your day to day life to make another decision. Not a better decision. I can't say that your decisions are bad. I can't say your decisions are good, but just another decision. You know what I mean? Um, so, yeah, definitely. And that's what it's about. It's really about doing stuff like that. I've been doing my water. Got a big old thermos right here, like I'm fucking in kindergarten. I got a big old thermos. I'm doing good with ridding myself of sugar every day. I fell off the wagon this week. I will not lie about that. Again, I've had nothing but visitors in the building all week. So the sweets came out. We even had cakes and pies and donuts and all kinds of crap that I shouldn't be eating, but I hopped on it a little bit this week and I'm definitely feeling it because I have been feeling a totally different energy up until this week. And this week, eating that crap has definitely slowed me down. So, it is true what I'm thinking it's true what they say. You are what you eat, for real, for real. So I will get back on it. I've said to myself that I will stay away from sugar this weekend. I am almost at lunchtime. So far, so good, and we'll continue that until Sunday. We'll try to continue it until Wednesday, to be honest with you. Then I might have a little something that's over the top. Now, I've been, admittedly, during lunch, I usually get like a quarter cup of juice. I'll usually have that at lunch. And that's really my only thing that has added sugar in it. Other than that, I use fruit. I eat fruit throughout the day. And if you want to count that as sugar, then you can. But that's all I've really been touching. Trying to be around as long as I can. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be around as long as God allows and gives me the wisdom to follow what has been told to me to keep me around. So that's what it is, and that's what I'm about right now. Again, this week we've seen the yo-yo of war, if you want to call it that. We've seen actions ramped up against Iran, then actions ramped down against Iran, and there was talk about actions being ramped up yet again, and there was talk about Iran agreeing to the terms of a treaty, which seemed even more harsh than what we had before we launched the attack against Iran, which makes no sense to me. It looks like they're getting more of what they want versus we getting what we want or what we need, with the exception of lower gas prices. Yesterday, the Dow skyrocketed up almost 1,000 points, and gas fell dang near 11%. So that was a huge day on the market. It's been seen at the pump as well. I saw gas prices yesterday. When I went out yesterday morning, they were roughly 375. Later on in the day, it was 350 something. So, God willing, the creek don't rise. They continue to plummet. God willing, the creek don't rise. Our men and women in harm's way will return home unharmed sooner rather than later. God willing, the creek don't rise. Cooler heads all around will prevail, and we will get back to some degree of normalcy in the world all the way around. But you just never know. You never know when the Secretary of Defense touts himself as the Secretary of War, and he constantly goes out and speaks down upon those whom, for whatever reason, the moment has struck his anger, his ire, his fire, his fears. Honestly, it's fear more than anything, in my opinion. You don't know when you have a commander in chief whom is obviously not under in control of all of his faculties. That's why he's posting pictures of himself as Jesus. I mean, did not Easter happen like 2 weeks ago? Is he not saying that he is the second coming? I'm trying to understand this. I don't understand how this is the pressure point in which folks are saying now he's gone too far. When did he not go too far when he allowed ICE in Minnesota to go crazy and just shoot and kill people? Did he not go too far when the ICE agents were pulled out of Minnesota but then thrown in airports? Did he not go too far when they were just grabbing people off the street, regardless of their citizenship, throwing them in cages and deporting them to God only knows where around the world? Did he not go too far when he said that he was going to bring down prices for everyday items for everyday Americans, yet prices have consistently gone up and up and up and up? Did he not go too far when he pushed through, with the help of his sycophants, Mike Johnson and others, the big big beautiful bill, which has been a piece of shit for everybody else except for the upper 1%? Did he not go too far when he threatened to pull fund states just because they did not agree with his policies? What part? This is too far. This is the line. This is where we needed to get to in order for some of you all to understand and to get off the freaking Kool-Aid and get off the damn bandwagon. We had to take it to this point for you all to wake up and recognize that this is some bullshit, that we are really, really in a world of hurt. And these folks whom are at the top right now are leading us nowhere but down. The fact that he used an AI generated photograph of himself portrayed as Jesus was the thing that took you over the line. That's what's too far. None of the other shit. This is the thing. Okay. 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 I mean, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. This is where we are. But what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you really going to get out there motivated till November? Remember, it's April. We still have May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Damn near 7 months to get through before we vote. Damn near. Are you going to be out there motivated? Are you going to stand in the line if the weather isn't good? If you are you going to carry other souls to the polls? Are you going to take a day off work? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not working because you've been laid off. Why? Because of Doge. So what is your excuse then? What is your reasoning then? What are you going to do? Is the question. Are you going to write an email? Are you going to work the phone banks? Cost you nothing to work the phone banks. Are you going to canvass communities that are not your community? Are you going to be bold enough to put a sign in your yard? Are you going to use some of this money that you're going to get from the tax? Because again, tax cuts are for everybody. So are you going to use that windfall that you get from the big beautiful bill to actually cut a check to a candidate who opposes the way the administration is running right now? Or are you going to sit in the house with your television, your cell phone, your laptop, and simply continue to scroll and order off of Amazon? I'm trying to understand what's going on. I'm trying to understand what it's going to take to get people to stand up and say, you know what? I went for him and his cronies because in the moment it made me feel good. That moment has passed. It has not paid off well for me. It's not paid off well for my neighbor. Because if things are not working out for your neighbors, you need to be nervous. Some point is going to come where if it continues to break against the will of the people, that's not true, the needs of the people will make sure that their needs are taken care of. They will. They will find a way, hook or crook, to make sure that their needs are taken care of. And if you are in the way of satisfying their needs, it's a problem for you, not for them, because they are going to satisfy their needs. We ain't even got to their wants. Rashi talks about those folks whom, they take a little sip, they take a little taste. That's a want for most people. Some people, it's actually a need. They have been broken down so bad that they need to soothe themselves. Drug addicts need to soothe themselves. They will do whatever they need to do in order to soothe themselves. Thomas said it well not too long ago. I can't remember the show, Thomas, but you said, we have too much in America and we're spoiled. That hit me the other day. I'm taking a drive and I'm looking around. I'm a part of it. I'm part of the problem. I'll admit that. I'm a part of the problem. I got $1 or two. Got a couple pennies. I'm at Ross. Middle of the damn day. In line was out snaked around in the middle of the day. This was a fucking Wednesday. Americans are moving around like nothing's going on. We're in the middle of the war. And we're moving around like nothing's going on. It's just another day. It's just another day. Brother Tony says, I'm looking at as the fall of, I think he meant this. I'm looking at this as the fall of America. And if that is the case, it's a great time for a reset. Comes back with salute from California. Thank you, brother. Thanks for joining. I know it's super early for you. Salute to you.
Yeah, my 214 brethren.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. But yeah, man. So you're talking about a Wednesday, and the line is snaked out and around the middle of the day. I'm not talking about Wednesday afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock ish. I'm talking like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the damn morning on a random Wednesday. And people were out shopping like it wasn't a thing. Like nothing is going on around them. Completely oblivious. Let me go in here and get some cheap made from China that I'm gonna put in the house, and it's gonna look pretty. One of the kids may break it, or one of the grandkids may break it. I'll just come back and buy another one. That's what it was. I was looking for some sneakers, but that's a different story. We ain't got to talk about why I was there. I got a color addiction, so I was. There's a couple of colors in me. I'm good now. I'm good now. But I needed them at the time. What is it going to take? What is it going to take to get us to start to move the needle, move it back? Yo, it ain't got to go all the way this way. It ain't got to go all the way that way. Can we just get it to center? Can we just get it to center? Center. There have been plenty of folks that I agree with that I wouldn't normally agree with. There have been folks that I voted for that I don't normally vote for, but I agree with what they were talking about. The majority of it, I agreed with. Some of it, I was like, you crazy as hell. But the majority of it, I agree with. I was like, you know what? This is a centric cat. I'm going to vote for the center candidate because I don't need everything all the way to the right. I don't need everything all the way to the left. Most of us want to be in the middle. Most of us understand that there are opposing views and have no problems with the opposing views. Some of us are extremely extreme, and all we want to hear is what we want to hear. And I get it. I can dig it. Not mad about that at all. You're going to have that all the time. You're always going to have a some. You're always going to have a one off. But the majority of us are centric. Rashi, would you consider yourself more centric, conservative, or liberal? Rashi? I think she's trying to get herself off mute. Or did she fall asleep on it? All right, Thomas, I'll come to you and give her an opportunity to get herself together. Would you consider yourself more centric, conservative, or liberal?
I'd say neither.
I apologize. I was having technical difficulties. I couldn't get my raggedy phone to acknowledge the fact that I wanted to unmute. I'm fairly liberal. But I consider myself a progressive person in that, I don't say anything negative about sex work. I don't, I consider myself to be a fairly progressive person. However, you're right. Some situations call for conservative ideology, and it's impossible really, Lee, to be that open about all things, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it depends on what you're talking about. Now, things like say abortion, I'm wide open. If you don't want to have that baby, go on and take care of that. I don't have a oh, the babies, because I understand how, what's happening to the planet, population wise. I also have raised children, and I know what that do to the human psyche. But I also am very conservative about purchasing. Like, how you just got to going on a rant about how you
Mm-hmm.
had a couple of color shoes that you had to get. That is so not me. I don't have to buy shit. I mean, maybe a drink or two every now and again. But other than that, I don't really have I don't have a purchasing bone. I
Okay.
mean, and I'm so glad. I think it's because I'm poor, because I know, what I want. I just have already been rationalizing it so long, 50 years of saying, girl, you don't need that. Where you gonna put it? And then how you gonna keep it safe? And then who you gonna leave it with when you don't want it stolen? It becomes so some things, yes, brother. Some things I'm a little bit more liberal, like let everybody have at it. I don't care. And other things
Mm.
nobody should have, nobody should see, nobody should be able to purchase or own. So I'm weird like that. So and you knew that. Uh, you know I'm weird like that. Good morning, brothers. Good morning, brothers. I was
Morning,
actually over
morning, morning.
here. I was over here sadly looking at because I was trying to prepare myself better for our topic, and so
Mhm.
I typed in the saddest uh 4 words I've typed in a long time, and it was recent black women deaths.
Let's not
Recent
pivot yet.
black women.
Hold on. Let's not pivot yet because I haven't even answered the question.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
and I do want to say this because we're trying to take our stuff up a little bit better. We really have to make sure that we give these people full segments that they understand so they can digest everything that we're putting out there. Because I got some good news that I'll deliver at the end regarding us podcasting and some other people that will be coming over to be joining us that's doing some heavy, magnificent work that is mind blowing. It's mind blowing. But as far as me, I would say neither. And the reason why I say neither is I think when you're black in America, one of the things that you learn is that our political voice is a lot different than everyone else's, from the conservative to the progressive to even the moderate view. Moderates, for the most part, they always love to slow our progress down. They never want us to go too far. And we need a lot of stuff expediently. Progressives, in my opinion, they go too far to me in the self-gratification mode. Black people are not really that much self-gratitude. Like the self-gratitude, it destroys us. And we see this with social media platforms or whatever. Conservatives, I'm trying to figure out what do they want to conserve outside of the KKK. So outside of that, when you take all three of them and you put them together, it's kind of hard to put yourself as a black person in this country in the pots of those people, because I see online, rarely from moderates, I'll give them credit, rarely from moderates, rarely from centrists, because we forgot those part because the centrist Democrats too, but I rarely see them attack. But the progressives and the conservatives, they feel like they're supposed to be able to impose their will on people who think different. And so I know I say neither, but I'm definitely not on the side of either of those, because progressives as well as these heavily MAGA conservatives, they don't leave space for conversation in between. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not just, hey, we have a difference of opinion and let's move on. Neither side, like both sides at this point, are like super extreme, more than what I've ever seen in my lifetime. So that's my take on it. I'm neither.
Okay. Um. So I feel where you're coming from, without a doubt. Yeah, I don't think either party speaks totally to me. That's why I say I'm more centric. Uh, I said publicly, if the former governor of Ohio, shit, begins with a C. I can't remember his name right now, but it'll come to me.
John Kasich.
If there you go. If he had run for president, I would have voted for him. I like this style. You know what I mean? Larry Hogan, former governor of the state of Maryland, not a bad dude to vote for. He is a Republican through and through, but he has also shown that he will stand up for the state of Maryland and all of its people. He stood up to Trump. He is a centric Republican. I would vote for him if he's the best candidate. I am willing to vote for the best candidate, period. I don't care what the rest of uh, that bull crap that comes along with them. You know what I mean? To your point, Thomas, there is no way we should have allowed this administration to come into play. We had already seen the ineptitude of the president in his previous administration. We had already seen the broken promises that he delivered from his first administration. We already know what this dude could and could not do, would or would not do. as a country, us rolling the dice on him again is insanity. Why would you do that? You knew what this guy could or could not do. You knew what he was about. If you're going to roll the dice, roll it on a player that was on a team that was doing well for the American people. That's how you do that. But we all know, we all know, sexism, classism, racism, all the isms played a huge part in that situation. And it is what it is, right? What are we going to do now, though? How are we going to change our trajectory? Because if we keep going the way that we're going, to Tony's point earlier, the American empire is over. We are finished kaput. That is a problem for us. I say that because we don't make shit. This country does not produce shit but food. It's all we produce is food and math.
African American lifestyle ingenuity. The black
I
man
can't hear you,
who
sis.
people
No, you went to mute. I couldn't understand you. I'm sorry. I could hear you, but I couldn't understand you. What were you saying? All right, she'll come back in. But
Well,
yeah,
I agree with Rashi. I think she was talking about African American culture, but I feel like
Okay.
I think we're reproducing that less and less. When I
Mm.
watch us dance, we ain't dancing how African Americans dance. We're kind of taking on more of the stuff from the continent now. We ain't invented a lot of anything in a minute. Hip hop might be like the last bit of whatever that we've invented in quite some time, and that has got corporatized. I worry often about this country, and to Tony's point, like he said, what if this is taking place from above? If this is a heaven sent situation, that all this is taking place. And what I would tell everybody is that every empire has rose and has fall. America is a baby. America is a baby. The Iranians are a lot older. We're talking about a 9,000-year civilization versus a country that's about to celebrate its 250th birthday. That's not a long time when you think about some of these other places that we go and we bomb, and these places that we point our fingers with, whether it's from a conservative lens or from a progressive lens, that we're trying to tell these societies as if we know better based off of the limited information that we have, which is typically most of the time coming from a white lens, you know? So for me, I don't know what we're going to do with this empire, but I will say it is about time for us as a collective to stop being so poignant and so negative towards each other and so judgmental towards each other and learn how to work with each other. Because what I always hear online is a bunch of bullshit reasons on why black people can't come together. Black folks could come together if we stop trying to find reasons to separate ourselves. And that's part of the thing that I feel like is going to always hamstring us, because we want to be separate more than we want to be together. We want to be the exceptional. Everything we're always trying to be the exception to the rule versus having that collectiveness. And so, you know, in Braveheart, what they say, we either going to bleed them out or we going to breed them out. Our issue is we ain't even breed no more. So they can bleed us out because they done already figured out a way to breed us out. They done talked us into staying on these platforms 12 hours a day versus going to find somebody the opposite sex to lay up under, because we got issues that we don't want to address that got something to do with us. So we blame other people. So I told some brothers a while back about the term black. And I'm like, I think we got to make people earn the term calling themselves black. You know, black people are typically proud people who came through the struggle, who fought through adversity, who did all of these things. We ain't black today. We're not black. We don't necessarily act like black people. You know, black people is oppositional to what happens inside of the oppressiveness of this country, whether it comes from the left or the right. Now, Brother Lee, I was thinking about your boy that we had on, the farmer.
Okay.
who he was a part of the Soul City. Remember the brother
Yep.
that came there, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
look at Soul City, that came through Nixon. Now we know Nixon was a racist, but Nixon figured out a way to get black there. What is it? The black elite. It was black engineers, black architects, everything, and he put them together, try to build a whole town around that. And when you go read about Soul City, what you find out is after Nixon got in trouble with Watergate, it was the liberals who decided to break up the idea of the Soul Cities around the country. Now that's something to think about, because all Nixon, in his own racist way, of course, he was trying to practice some separatism piece. But then the other aspect of it, what he was saying was, well, we put the most talented black people around each other and let them build up, then that'll help the country even more. The white liberals didn't want that, and they attacked. Right? They attack that. And you see that with our families. Typically, it's the white liberals that's attacking the idea of black families sticking together. They're the ones that have the issue. Every time somebody do something that's a black male or a black female, it's all black women, it's all black men. That's a heavy liberal slant as well as conservative slant at the same time. So I just say respectfully, on a political aspect, I think both parties have been good at hijacking our voice, that we don't lead credence to what we need. We always lead credence to what they want and their desired outcomes versus our desired outcomes, because our desired outcomes, and I will say this in land, always they try to take this thing with reparations, and they try to use reparations as a wedger. And I want young people to be mindful when you're having conversations about reparations around the country. There's multitudes of ways to get that repair and reparations outside of the check, but you have to be able to speak to the damages that has been done to us collectively throughout time. Without knowing that history, and so many of us don't, you will never be able to get reparations. As long as you sit online saying, I don't never want to see another 12 years a slave. Well, guess what? Donald Trump wants to do they want a George Washington movie. See, y'all keep saying y'all don't want to go back to yesteryear. They don't mind going back to yesteryear, because for them, that helps them talk about their heritage. We are the people. That's why I say we can't call ourselves black, because, not them proud black folks. See, black people want to know about yesteryear to figure out how we can move forward. These new Negroes, man, they don't care about nothing in the past. Everything is right now. Everything started with them. And before them, it was nothing.
And Instagram.
But before them, it was nothing.
It was. All right, so good point. Let's go to where Rashi started to get us to a little earlier. So the murder-suicide in Virginia. On the 16th of April, former Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, Justin Fairfax, was found dead in his home upstairs. Found in the basement, unfinished basement of the home, is his wife, estranged wife, Dr. Serena Fairfax. She's a dentist. They were in the process of a divorce. She filed for divorce back in July, on the 18th of July last year. The case was still pending. He was ordered to appear in court this month on the 21st of April. But again, unfortunately, at midnight on the 16th, looks like he took her life and then his life later on same night. According to reports, they were going through a messy divorce. This has been a protracted um, domestic violence, domestic dispute. I'm sorry, domestic dispute, because as they were going through a messy divorce. Don't know any details about that, but I've never saw it okay. I've never understood why you would kill someone versus just leaving them. And even if you did kill somebody, I never understood why you want to take your own life. That shit just don't make no sense to me. So you gonna kill her or him, and then you gonna turn around and kill yourself? Like, what kind of sense that make? Just kill yourself. Let them be. They gone out of your life. You gone away from life. You can't live without them. Just take your life and be done with. Don't kill them. How that make sense? That makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? I want to start with her.
Actually, there's more that doesn't make sense. We need to understand that there were two teenage children there in the home when that family erupted that way. When they are interviewing those children, they talking about they called the police talking about my mama been stabbed. However, her body had been shot multiple times. How much motherfucking video games with the headphones on can you play? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
If you in the
Stop
now,
watching.
I'm in the
Stop
house with my
watching.
mama. I'm in the
Stop
house with my
watching.
mama. Okay, I'm
Stop.
telling you. I'm just telling you. It's
Rashi, I
this.
got
This is
shot.
different. This is
I got
different.
shot, and my mother didn't know. My mother, when I walked upstairs bleeding, my mother asked me what was the number to 911.
Wow.
Ouch.
So let's not do
What?
that.
Shock, shock is shock.
No, no,
Shock
shock
is
is shock.
shock. I hear
Yeah.
you.
Trauma is
I hear
trauma. They
you.
let off over 40 shots. And my mom and my brother was hiding in the closet. And my mama asked me what was the number to 911.
Shock is shock. I just need y'all to hear that there's some. There has to be. Okay. Now this actual murder suicide is not the only one. I would caution you, listeners, to do this search. But when I did it, I came to the revelation that the current murder suicide is one of many. And I'm just going to say some names, and then I want y'all to be able. The search I put into the search bar was Black women murdered recently. Black women murdered recently. Okay, that was the search I put into the search bar. Miss Fairfax was the first one. I believe she was the most recent. But then there's Ashanti Allen. She was pregnant, found dead in her Houston home. Ashley Janae Robinson, found dead in her home. Uh, there was, I'm going to say it right. I'm sorry, Miss Barnes. Quilicia Barnes, a pregnant nurse who was found dead in her car. Nancy Bowen. All these in the month of April, by the way. Florida Vice Mayor found dead in her home. Husband charged. Victoria Alexander, the 38-year-old nurse, found dead on her job, shot by her estranged husband. This is this month, fellas. Sierra Howlett, 31-year-old, shot dead. They don't know exactly who killed her. Suspicious death. Pastor Tammy, killed on Easter by her husband, Bianca Huntley, gunned down on the highway. They're not quite sure who. And Celeste Hernandez, and she was one of the people not killed this month, but they're just recognizing her death as killed from a year ago. This is what we're dealing with here. That was not one. If you can see that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, okay, you get it. And so I need us to hear that these women are, well, they're home now because more than 400,000 Black women have been fired since they got rid of any type of DEI related work at the job or any. They they sent us home. They sent a 500,000 Black women home and tell them, get your big wide booty cell phone back up in there. Now, what did that do? What does it do when you send us back home and fire us? Well, for one, firing anybody increases the tension in a domestic situation. Like literally, it don't matter who get fired.
Right.
Being fired amongst the household make everybody booty hole real tight, right, Lee? But here's the
Yep.
problem. Here's the
First with these
problem.
gas prices,
Okay, with them gas and the prices of everything, right? Not just gas.
weed even
Gas runs
going
up.
up.
We listen. That's what I told. Anyway, so what we looking at, what was nationalized was the military man's work, but you need to hear that if you type in those words that I told you, your googly shirt should bring you to a very strange place, which is a plethora of Black women that have been recently killed, not just by rando, but killed by someone we that they had assumed that they were going to live harmoniously together with for the rest of their life. Now, what we didn't know about the Miss Fairfax is that yes, they were divorced, but they had to stay. It wasn't enough money for them to live outside the house together. They were still up in there together. Now, imagine, Lee. I done told you I don't want to be with you no more, Lee. I done started the paperwork on you, Lee. but I can't
You saying
afford.
my name.
I'm because this is how I do it. Listen, me and
No,
you
I got you.
together,
I
we
got you. I
together,
got
boo. You know you my main. And so but finally I got tired of your ass. So I
you.
typed it up, and but I couldn't leave because our teenage children. Honestly, it becomes a War of the Roses. Remember that movie War of the Roses?
Yes, yes,
Where
yes, yes.
can't nobody motherfucking leave. I'm not leaving, bitch. You leave. I ain't leaving, bitch. You leave. And you get out there and you start fighting over this property because sometimes possession, what they say, is
9 10
nine
years.
tenths of the law. So don't nobody want to pack up and leave because that's my goddamn house. I put my 401k on the thing, the closing
The
costs or
mortgage.
whatever, the mortgage. Exactly. And so when you start looking at, oh, both of us paid the mortgage out of our savings. Both of us have put, so now who get the motherfucking house? Who get the kids? Who did the kids decide to side with? You understand? It can become psychologically taxing to separate from somebody. And I just need to hear our listeners to hear that the more prestige you have, the more money you have, the more you have to lose, meaning the hearts and minds of your children, your home, quite possibly in the military if it get too ugly. Hell, you could lose more than that. Can't you get in trouble in the military for whooping your wife's
Yep,
ass?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, you're going to learn more.
so then you got to worry about her telling on you and all this other weird shit. And so eventually you can find a situation where I still think something is up. I ain't trying to be funny,
Well,
but I know I still think
so-
something is up, Thomas. I'll put
well,
your shock on the top of my cake of conspiracy.
well,
But I still think something is up.
I want to say this. My mother just left a funeral yesterday of a young man from Indianapolis that was killed by his girlfriend, shot to death in his
Mm,
apartment after he tried to put her out. And
mm.
black people just kill black people. And black women kill black children, black men kill black children, black men kill black women, and black women kill black men. We have a serious issue that we don't talk about. And what I've seen in this murder is the level of separation that we tend to do at tragedy time and time again. What happened to that woman was horrific. I don't believe she deserved it. I don't know anybody who deserves to die like that based off of a divorce. I also don't believe that he should be the poster child for what's wrong with black men in this country because that is happening far too much, but it's not like it's a norm. Another issue that we have is those people who are lionizing him based off of his position and his fraternity. And I feel like that's crazy. I think that when we see tragedy in our community, instead of us trying to get clicks for social media platforms or to sell our, podcasts, i.e. Roland Martin and stuff like that, Mark Lamont Hill, and even some of the people that I know here locally, we just have to pause and mourn for the dead before we start this idea of reconstructing, finger pointing, and broad brushing the situation. I asked some sisters yesterday, like, what can we do as black men to protect you guys better? Can we start with that conversation? Let's not go all around the world, but what do y'all need from us to protect you better? And when I say that, I'm not saying that to be condescending. Like, if there's a problem, as adults, we should be able to sit at a table and converse with each other to say, how can we do it? I keep hearing sisters say, y'all the least protected. Okay, I'll take you at your word and I hear you. So, how do we protect you better? And when we ask that question, understand when someone asks you, how can I protect you better? It's not just about what we have to do. It's going to have to be some adjustments. And what can we do to protect one another better? I'm glad you asked that question. It's hard to protect people that's not willing to submit to each other.
Mm.
That whole conversation of submission online that has all of these criteriums that we give to be submissive under this black umbrella. We just had a sister that was just killed by her white lover inside of Africa. Did we forget that fast before we start talking about black men? and she was online saying black men want shit. We just jumped over that. And so I'm asking, we have to figure this out. But if we don't start conversing with each other outside of the purview of others, allowing their energy to seep into it, how can we figure this out? Because I don't want to keep seeing these stories. And I will tell you, this is why I believe black men need to focus on their mental and emotional well-being, because you cannot be impulsive, killing your wife, your ex-wife, your girlfriend, the chick you saw in the elevator, etc. But sisters, if I'm being real, some of y'all need to check y'all emotional and mental health well-being too, because you can't kill that brother because he don't want to be with you, deal with you, etc. Nor put rape cases on that cat because he didn't smash it. He don't want to talk
or harass the hell out of him every day, all day.
But we have to talk,
make him
y'all.
lose his job, so on and so. Not that that's happened to me.
But we got to talk. We can't keep letting these situations come up and we're not discussing how can we better this amongst each other, because I don't believe in blaming the victim. I don't want to blame no victims in none of these situations, but we got to talk, y'all. That's why I feel like at some point we got to get it right amongst us. And this ain't about the rest of America. This is about us as black folk talking amongst black folk.
Okay, so to that point, I want to go back a little bit because Brother Precise said something. And I don't know if you were joking with this, not, bro, but hopefully I come through clear with this message. Comment 1147. They keep choosing these violent men, then act surprised when these men turn on them. To your point, Thomas, you don't know who you get until something goes left, right? I've said this before. I think we're too quick to put labels on people and rushing through the process. I want to see you in all seasons. I want to see you when pressure's put on you. I want to see you when you're around your family.
Good morning, Thomas Berry, Vice President of the Minneapolis.
Thomas, you're on. Your mic is still hot. There you go. I want to see you when you're around friends and family and you relax. I want to see you laugh. I want to see you cry. I want to see you when times get tough and we got to figure things out. I want to make sure the best I can that I know what I got. I don't think anyone purposely chooses violent people in their life, male or female. I will say to you though, if a motherfucker whoop on your ass, there's a high chance that they're gonna continue to whoop on your ass if you allow them to whoop on your ass. And that's not okay. You know, I do not believe in hitting women. But if you hit me first, I may forget that you're a woman. Just saying. You know, we learned everything we should know in kindergarten, and all of us found out in kindergarten you don't put your hands on people, nor do you put your feet on people. It's not what you do.
And nor can you figure out if somebody is going to get to wailing on your ass as a woman just because it's just the wrong side of the day. And I've seen those situations, and typically, man, these women, look, I'm telling y'all, man, people who are victims, they're not choosing to be victims all the time, y'all.
Right. Not all the time. Some of the time, yeah, but not all the time.
I mean,
some people really think that's love. I've never understood that shit.
True, but then there's sometimes where you have that situation, they just don't know how to break away.
Let's go into this.
Or they so hurt that they don't have the coping mechanism behavior to work through what has fucked up their psyche.
Yeah.
Because even me, I pushed my ex-husband down a flight of steps. But it was not intentional, brothers. It was after he got through writing letters to bitches on the internet and playing with the money and this and this and this. And then I had to decide I could not. Y'all not listen. See, I'm gonna hurt both of you motherfuckers if y'all don't stop.
Now listen, down some stairs.
Listen, because the case technically is still pending. He left the United States before we can finish this out. But look. What had happened was I was hurt psychologically I had witnessed videos and pictures of him telling women that he had wished he had waited to get married because had he known them before he known me, blah, 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 blah. This is after I done stood in a motherfucking food step line and fed this motherfucker. You understand? This is after we have had to deal with dead babies and blah, blah, the whole saga. And now I'm dealing with somebody who I can't put any impression on him psychologically, emotionally. He don't care if I cry. He don't care if it hurts that he has done this other behavior. And all I had in the moment at the top of those stairs was physical behavior. And so when I pushed, it was not even because I wanted to see him die, because after step number 6 or 7, I was like, oh, damn, please, Jesus. Please, I don't want to go to jail. Please, Jesus, please don't let this nigga die.
She wasn't
Please,
thinking
nigga,
about
please.
him dying. She was like,
Nigga,
shit, I ain't
nigga,
trying
I don't want to go to jail. Nigga, please don't make me have to go to jail. Please, please, Lord, I don't want to go to jail. Anyway, and yes, Lee. Later on, I did not want him to die. But when you are dealing with the pain, fellas, I'm trying to talk to you about old boy who just murked his wife. It's a pain that happens when you are saying, I still actually love you. I'm still signed on to our original fucking plan. I am still investing in the idea that you sold me at that point 15 years ago. I'm still in it. I still got the stretch marks. I still have the negative debt. I still have it because I'm in this with you. And now you telling me that every time I talk to you, it make you want to take something and stab yourself in the ear because you hate the sound of my voice. You don't want this funky ass pussy no more. You understand? I mean, it get deep. I mean, come on now. Don't act like you ain't never been done with a motherfucker and they kept on going. And they kept on going.
no,
And
I
they
was talking
kept
about the
and they
funky
was
ass pussy comment. That
that's
shit
what
shot in
they'll do.
headline
They'll
too.
do that shit. You think they don't do that shit to you when they done? When people are done fucking with you, you musty fat bastard, you dumb bitch. You okay, don't keep playing like you don't know how we devolve into a lesser self when we
True,
done
true,
fucking with
true.
somebody. Okay, tight. All right, so then you realize how low you are in their level of importance and that you done doing any type of psychological pull on them and the only thing you got is physical pain. And now some of us can stop at the flight of steps or punching them or even, I don't know, weird stuff. But some of us have no. Do you think I'm justifying with the man, don't you? I'm trying to explain that there comes a time when you are so desperate for a connection with another individual who is tapped out on you that you go to what they call DEF CON. DEF CON. You go DEF CON. What's the top level? Lee, come back. What's the top level of DEF CON? I think it's DEF CON 5. Anyway, you go DEF CON 5.
Child, I was in the Air Force. We don't do that shit.
You on
You
DEF
either go
CON?
or you don't go.
You don't know what I'm talking about? DEF
I know
CON?
what you're talking about, but we
Okay.
don't fool with DEF cons unless you're in intelligence.
Anyway, you go DEF CON 5 and you like fuck everything. Now what do we have to say? He didn't hurt them babies. You understand? They were in the house. He did not kill the babies after killing the wife. Because killing the babies after you kill the wife is that white shit. Anyway, but he didn't go full white. All right? He didn't go full white. The babies are still alive. And they're going to have a story to tell. And I just want to know if we're going to be able to hear it as a cautionary tale. Because loving, wanting someone who is done with your ass is quite possibly is DEFCON 1. That's it.
Yeah.
Come on, Brown. I want to go higher than DEFCON 1.
Well, there's no
Dang.
higher. That's when the nukes start flying.
DEFCON is the level. Okay, I thought it was DEFCON at least 3. Okay, but that's when you decide. You say, I don't care. It's everybody who knows about this situation gotta die. Okay, I don't want this to be my reality anymore, and there is no fix. Lee, when you're done with me, what can I do? For real. If I win the lottery, do you come back? You right? Right? If
I
I
guess
say,
I guess you gotta take that funky ass pussy and move on. Look,
you
I
take it
wanna
and move the fuck on.
I have a question. Honestly, Rashi, don't go on mute. I got a question for you. And I'm trying to get Sister Noval to respond to. Going back to where I was, do you know a sister or sisters who view control and violence as love?
As affection, yes, they do.
Right.
And these are women who, it's an early laid track. I'm gonna have to tell you that they mama laid that track down. They're either their mother or their grandmother coded for them for that. No, no person who's doing the abuse can get you to accept it as love. It has to happen pre individual that you're dealing with later in life, meaning
Right.
some other person, some primary bond, meaning mother, father, stepfather. They have to code you early for psychological slash physical pain and attention is still love. Is in fact, I care about you enough to correct you and discipline you. That's the way I'm going to show that I care about you as an individual. That's pre-coded. So while we mad at the person who's smacking them, they found out just after the fact that the person like it like that. I
So,
know
sister,
that sound weird, don't it?
no, no, no. Sister Novell says, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right too, sis. She says, yes, and it started in the church. So, my nosy ass, like, what happened was? I'm trying to figure out what she going to say in response to that. But that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, the church trains us to be very accepting of things that I don't think we would naturally accept because we don't want to fall out of favor with Jesus. So I'm very. He said, "What happens in this home stays in the home." Okay, I got you.
Because you
Okay,
got
I
to see
got you.
what. Okay, let me tell you what you see. You see your mama get mollywopped and she didn't leave. You see your mama get the shit slapped out of her by anybody. It could have been the husband. It could have been her. It could have been your grandma
Right.
slapped your
Right,
mama. It could have been an auntie or aunt slapped your mama.
Right.
right.
And she didn't, and it didn't register. Like they was like, don't, it was some weird shit went down after that. And
Yeah.
then you go, and then that's when it codes. Somebody can slap me, and they're not trying to kill me. They trying to do something, and I need to consider that love.
You know,
Hey,
Rashi,
it's a deep track.
Rashi, I was very insensitive to these topics. And I really want to share this with the brothers out there. I was insensitive to these topics up until about 6 years ago, where I went on a date with one of my favorite people, and I was spewing all of this conversation, the idea that women select, they choose these men, all of these other things, until she shared with me, which I was surprised that she was in an abusive relationship as well, and how this man was beating on her for quite some time. And you could never tell by how she carries herself, how she goes about things, that she was ever in an abusive relationship. And I say that to say that abuse typically is private. It's the punches in the gut that nobody else sees.
Right.
It's the choking of the woman, and then she just disappears for
It's
months at a time.
freezing her out of the money financially, not taking her. I'm telling you, it get deep.
So it's the jealousy because she may work at a place where there are men who work there, and who are you talking to? It's just a lot of things that happen in abusive situations.
Or she's doing better than you financially because she's furthered
Oh
her
my God,
career,
come on.
her
That
education,
too,
whatever. I
that
got
too.
you.
But this man was also manic. He was a manic bipolar man. And when you're dealing with manic people, and there's a lot of manic people that know when they under that medication, they're cool. But when they're off that medication, they're not cool.
Whether or if they on their medication, Brother Thomas, and life It's just pushing particular buttons. The medication is there when things are not so chaotic.
Yeah.
But if you're on medication, but you about to get evicted, and you just lost your job, and your wife is giving you a divorce, and your oldest teen boy is getting
Right.
suspended from school, and your mama's
Right.
about to die, and you just gotta every time you try to go pee, it take you all day to get the pee out. You worried
Yep.
about your prostate. You
Right.
can be on the motherfucking medication, but the other extenuating circumstances are so deep that it throws you into a manic situation just trying to figure out what to prioritize. Why do I keep feeling like I'm sounding like I'm siding with the predator?
No, you're fine. No, you're not. I think what I'm saying is there's just a lot of factors that go in play. And I think 5 years ago, we were talking about mental health as if it was like this cute little topic, a little bit of anxiety, yeah, a slight depression. But when we start talking about these people who snap and it's a lot of imbalance where there is some mental health in play. And I am not trying to justify anybody doing anything to no woman just off of mental health. But I do want to say that that does play a role in it. And we have to be able to communicate. And I'm going to go back to the idea of the privacy. Most of the beatings don't happen in front of guests. A lot of the beatings don't happen in front of mixed company. And when it does, that means that it's been happening so much that the man is just now comfortable whooping on this woman. The
And she
isolating,
has accepted it, so he knows she's not going to act out so much either,
well, not just so much as that she's
regardless of the
accepted it,
situation.
he's isolated her from her family. So that isolation, because now it's hard to whoop somebody that got backup. See, you can't whoop her if she got backup and her mama and her sisters and brothers are there and cousins are willing to fuck you up behind it. So we don't talk about that aspect because it's just I mean, Rashi is right in some aspect. It's a predator in the wild. You start learning people who you can isolate, or you start trying to find women who are already in isolation who don't have family members that they can depend upon. It's a
Okay,
science behind this.
so I'm glad you said that because unfortunately, I've seen physical abuse of a woman in a home with her mother
Mhm.
being there, and her mother didn't do shit.
Mm.
I'm young. I'm younger than most of my friends, and I'm like, that's not okay in my head. And I said it to him later. I was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's not okay. She got to know how to act. That's not your place to teach. You don't hit on her like that, dog. That ain't cool. But I had to think about it because, to your point, Thomas, family members that he count on. What if her mom understood that to be love? So
Okay.
going
Okay,
back to
it
Rashi's
ain't even
point,
that deep. It ain't even that deep. Look, I'm what you call an unprotected female. What does that mean? You ever heard that term, Thomas? Unprotected female?
I've heard it
oh, we get it all the time.
all the time.
Right, we get it all the
That's
time.
the-
I mean, I'm the oldest girl. There is no
Okay,
older brother.
okay.
okay,
Okay, I am none of my uncles. All right. Well, let me not say that. I got one that he might kill everybody, but he'll kill everybody indiscriminately. He won't kill the person who hurt me. He's just gonna kill us all. Okay.
is that
But
the one that
okay,
was in prison that
so
we
that's
talked
the
to?
one. That's the one. So technically,
Okay,
I guess I'm at to retract. I'm not quite an unprotected female, but I have to keep ignoring him because he'll shoot the phone in my hand thinking he killing both of y'all. Okay, he'll kill us all. All right, but more importantly, my son, as much as I love him, he's not gonna hurt. I don't think he'll kill. I don't think he's capable of killing. If you slap me, Lee, he's not going to buck up against you. He'll call the police. He'll let the law. He'll call the police on you. He's not going to try to. There'll be no. If I come up missing, I don't think there'll be no watch party. You understand?
Mm.
gotcha.
And so they'll be like, where the fuck she go? But there'll be no, oh hell no, we getting Rashi back anyway, anyhow. I don't care.
Right.
Where's the money? Where's the thing? Generate the fucking fish fry. Blah 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 blah. Everybody be like, oh damn, where Rashi go?
I don't like you saying that because we
What the
on this
hell?
call. No, I don't, because we on this call. And let me say this publicly, because I've had a sister who I was going balls to the wall for, and I've seen her prune her lips and type on her fingertips that there's nobody that black women are unprotected. When anytime she had an issue, I was the brother stepping up to make sure I showed I had her back and taking all her battles and her wars. And she knew when she was around me, nothing was gonna happen to her. And I wasn't trying to get in her pants or smack her on her ass or rub on her tits or nothing like that, neither. I just feel like sometimes, and this is part of the thing about the conversation that I think we need to have. And I want to say this respectfully. And I know Sister Novell, I hope she's still on. Naval, if you still on, just put a smiling emoji or something.
Yeah, yes, I wanted to hear from Sister Divida too.
So to me, I feel like one of the issues that we have is that I think that there's such a tug of war of power with black women and black men based off of people just want to do what they want to do, how they want to do it. And I apologize, I gotta plug up my what's the name. Okay, Naval, you're here. Naval, I want to ask a question to you and Rashi. Can a black man really protect you if you put, and I'm only asking as a brother, because I know brothers struggle with this. Sisters seem to be everywhere but anywhere where we can protect you. How can we protect somebody who don't want to adhere and work with the protection? Because if I'm standing in front of you, if I'm the one that's supposed to be there when it goes, why are you everywhere where I'm not? How can we protect somebody that's everywhere? And I have to ask that question to black women in general, because y'all could put yourself in places where you know the protection is not there. And when you do find brothers that you know got your back that will protect you, why do you leave that protection? I'll send, you know what, Lee, can we send can I send her? I'll send her the link. I'm about to send her the link. I'll send her the link.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
I mean, I don't disagree, brother. You won't find me talking about come get me off the top of this skyscraper. I don't know how I got. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is regular ass reality where when the tire blow, who do you call? When if I'm driving and my tire
the guy you blowing, that's who you call.
And see, I don't blow guys no more. I'm a retired hoe. So when you
retire yourself.
When you put your shield back up, when you put them clear heels back up into the closet, it's a done deal. You know what I'm saying? It's a done deal. So okay, now this is what I'm trying to explain.
But we're not meant to be alone. That's the other side of it. We're not meant to be. We are not designed to be alone. Look at what we're going through, right? Not just the protection mechanism, but in general. This is not set up. This world, this economy, this society, it's not set up for one person to thug through it, fight through it alone. It's not set up for that. It's not. And for us to constantly to Thomas's point, put ourselves in situations where we are by ourselves is problematic. It's the thing that gets us where we are, which is the circular conversation. It's circular. It's a circular conversation. Well, you didn't, and you didn't, and well, why didn't you? And you didn't. Oh, yo, what the hell? Sister Novell's here.
Hello,
Peace,
how are
sister,
you
how
all?
you doing? Peace.
I want my picture. Get back on camera because I need you.
Look, she had to pull over. She pulled
Yeah.
under the shade tree. She like, look, I want to make sure y'all see me up on this piece.
Hello, I had to pull over. Like, wait a minute, look.
What's going on?
What's your but we're gonna use this one for right now. Hello, all. I mean, it's not enough to type, and plus, my ADHD is too.
No worries. Welcome, sis. Welcome.
Hello, sis. You got 2 men. 2 men against one. Let's jump in and make it even. I need equal rights over here.
You have to go get both of them. Will admit
she's a reform hoe. That's a good time for her. She's a reform hoe. That's a good time for her. 2 men.
Yeah, okay. I hung them heels up, baby. I had did enough damage. I hung them heels right on up.
hey, there's nothing wrong with it. It's all art. I don't discriminate. You know, the language is different depending who it may be coming from. So,
right, that's true. So let me ask you this question, and
yes.
I mean it in a sincere way, because I do, and Rashi answered it, and I'm glad Rashi answered from that aspect. But how do we protect women who really?
I mean, I don't think it's you know, I had this conversation with another Black woman. We were in New York, and there are you know, we're biased, right? Sexist about certain things men should do and certain things women should do, and I think we need to protect each other. When it comes down to it, I think we need to. There needs to be bigger conversations about how we communicate amongst each other. There's verbal abuse. I'm going to say it as a woman that we can say that can trigger things that puts us in situations where it can be physical abuse. And what happens is, what gets the popular thing is, hey, women are getting killed more than men, right? But they're not talking about the mental abuse that we could do towards men. There needs to be conversations on the table of how we talk amongst each other. We talk really reckless, especially our youth. You see them all the time. How it starts at home, it starts in community. Those conversations need to be having sooner than later, because we turn into adults, egotistical, hating each other. It's rage. When you get into a situation, someone's killing, it's rage. You could be mad at somebody, like she was talking about. I was so mad at him because he was talking to another woman. That is rage. I pushed him down the stairs. That's rage. You got delusional and forgot who you were at
He
that
didn't
minute
mean
when
it
you
though.
put your hands on him. So
No,
She
no,
didn't mean it.
how do I make him feel? How do I make him
how do you
feel
make
what
him
I feel?
because you want him to feel
What
the
I
pain you feel,
feel
and
on
it's
the
not. It's
inside,
delusional.
my stomach is turning, my heart is racing.
Yeah, and he
I'm
don't
thinking
care.
about 15 fucking years.
Yeah, you know.
How do you make him feel?
The angry Black woman, the diary of a mad Black woman, right? She's like, let me push him down some stairs. Nah, I don't know what she did, but it is rage. It's a get back. We mentally want to do that. They see women talk less about what they want to do. I'm glad you were like, Bo, yeah, I pushed down the stairs. Yeah, I don't pull the strap on somebody, not because I
She was
get
glad about
control.
that.
Because you
No,
tried
you
me.
don't,
You
because
tried me.
what do
Yes,
I do?
I'm mama's little kid. When you talk about women, and so we were talking about the church too, why I brought up the church. Because these things and behavior are taught to women to do this, to do that, to keep things in the home. We see abuse at a younger age, a long time ago, and it's not called abuse. So then in our minds, we think that, oh, someone putting their hands on us and choking us out is great. That's great if you like that as a sexual activity, but that's private, you know. But that's not love.
Right.
Tell us what
Sorry.
you really like.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yep.
You said you got together with another sister in New York, and you all were talking about
So we were
how.
talking about a situation
Hold on.
about how she felt this
Hold on.
man
Hold
was
on.
supposed to put it. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Yep.
My time to talk. My time to talk. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's why I
Okay.
said, look, I have a question. So my question is, you sat down with her and you discussed what men are supposed to do and what women are supposed to do. Correct? Is that what you
Yes.
said?
Yes.
Okay. Please tell me what the hell y'all figured out what women's supposed to do, because we know all the time what men's supposed to do.
No, she was
Just
talking about
tell
how
me.
she got.
No. I just want the list of what y'all came up with what women's supposed to do. That's all I want.
Women's
You
supposed
don't
to
need to go
do.
into a dissertation about this,
Do
that,
better
and
at
third.
listening,
I
right?
just need the list.
Do better at listening.
Mm.
Accountability, because we don't look at things that we're doing in the moment as it could be wrong
Mm.
or subjective. She wanted the air conditioning put in her unit. She was mad because he didn't do it. I said, because you thought because he was male and it was okay. And she's like, yeah, and I got mad. And I said, you should be mad at yourself, right? She's like, yeah, I should, because how did I have the audacity? Because he's male, he was my male. And she ended up doing it herself. I'm like, yes, because society has taught us that. We were taught
Mm.
these things. What a man's supposed to do, supposed to open up a door or not open a door. I'm not about to argue about a man if he opens up the door, if he doesn't. Well, that means he this and that. It's delusional. We put it in our heads. A lot of things are delusional. We knew who this man was when he showed us. We make up excuses. It's delusional.
Mm.
We put these whole perceptions in our head about what someone's supposed to be. Even with communication amongst women, I assume age equates to common sense. I equated
And
age to
maturity.
being wise, and it
And
wasn't.
maturity. Correct.
Yes, we're taught
Correct.
that. So when I tell people, I don't tell you my age because I want you to learn me for my heart, who I am as a person. Because when we start talking about superficial things or your age and did you go to school for that, I know things that you don't know because I'm around other elders in my community that I adapt to, that I like. I like Luci Pavarotti. What is that? He's an opera singer. Does that equate to my age? Maybe not. He's dead now. Because I like certain music, classic rock. Then I'm labeled as a white black girl, or whatever that's supposed to mean, right? I like music. Yeah. I was classically trained, but it's not familiar with us. Well, I don't know how, because back in the day they were already doing this.
Right.
It's not familiar with you.
Yeah.
But hold on. I'm sorry, because I failed you. I didn't write these things down. So you said better at listening.
Better at listening, sir. Yes.
You said accountability.
Accountability and not being sexist, because we're sexist. We're biased. Like, oh, he's a male. He should be able to do this and that.
What else you come up with? That was it. That's my point.
Queen,
Two things they're supposed to do. We got a whole damn list. But it's all the shit they supposed to do.
Not only that, it's just like when you get involved, you feel that, hey, I don't want to say involved. Let's say marriage, right? Let's skip to about courting and being with someone. It should be a business. It should be, how do we build first versus I want to get married with a dress. I would never marry you.
Yeah, you need to say that again because people fail that. Go ahead, Thomas. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let Thomas get in. But you need to say that again.
I will agree to a certain extent, but I think that we have to be careful because if we start adopting European ethos, we're gonna get European results. This is why I don't let sisters call me king. And I don't call women queen, but kings usually behead the queen, or the queen is trying to behead the king, and it's typically based off of power as well as other assets. So when we say words and we say things, don't get me wrong, marriage is a business, but we need to stop being so transactional. What she was mad
about, it's not because why?
Hold on, let me explain it to you. What she was mad about that brother with was about a transaction that he did not do. She didn't say anything about what she was doing to entice or what she was willing to pay him to do what it is that she wanted him to do. That's part of the reason why he probably didn't do it. He probably done things in the past and she wasn't appreciative of those things. So you don't get shit else, or there's not an even trade-off. And I think sometimes what I find out is, especially in the day where women don't cook, they don't clean, they don't rub backs, they don't do any.
But anyways,
but okay,
I was cracking you
after the show. I'll call you after the show. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when you don't have those trade-offs, what happens is that women are waiting on men to volunteer to do things, and they don't volunteer to do shit. You ain't never cooked for a man because you only cook for your kids. And we're saying this proudly online and then wondering why men are not doing anything. Oh, good morning is so boring. Well, if the nigga don't say nothing, then what? If somebody's saying, hey, how you doing? Don't text me, hey, how you doing? That's so boring. Well, okay, why don't you kick off the conversation? If you don't plan it off the right place that you want to go to, why don't you just plan it since it's you that want to go to that place? To me, it's just we have a bunch of teenagers masquerading as grown people and they want a princess treatment. However, they don't want to make the man feel like a prince or the king that they call themselves. They call these brothers. When I hear these stories, I'm almost like I'm rarely hearing brothers saying, I don't want to deal with her no more because she ain't cooked me enough Sunday dinners. I don't see that online. I just don't.
So I'm saying,
but
I'm
like
agreeing with her. Too, so I'm agreeing with Novell and a slight deviation from you, Thomas. I don't think this is a European ethos as far as looking at marriage as a business. I think it's a well-planted Eastern concept. If you look at arranged marriages, if you look at, and not just in India, but in Asia, Asiatic marriages, those things are business moves. Those things are establishing the family, keeping the family going. This is why their children are directed what to do. Your ass is going to be a dentist. You have no choice. That's the fuck you're going to do because the community needs a dentist. You are going to be very successful because the community will support you because you are the community's dentist. You will be a veterinarian. The community needs a veterinarian. You will be very successful because the community needs a veterinarian. So everyone's going. These are understood. So I agree with you. I don't want to take emotions out of relationships. I don't think it should be totally void, but I do think we don't need to put as much emphasis on it. We need to put emphasis on the commitment, the community, and the not the commitment, the duty, and the furthering of the family. So
So
keep it in the community.
I don't
Yes.
disagree with that, but what I always say about us, and I'm talking about African Americans, is that we forget how we arrived in this country. We forget our plight and we adopt other people's things. And that's a major ingredient
Okay.
on why we do what we do differently than other people. And so what I'm saying is, I'm not
Is there
saying that
something wrong
business
if
should
it's
not.
another culture? If it works, what is the problem if it works? If it helps elevate,
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that other cultures when
why does it
walking.
have to be labeled something? Okay.
So let me explain. So let me explain it to you why. Because other cultures didn't have to come off the plantation to walk to other states to put their families back together. We have a different duty than other people have because we have a different disposition than other groups. Those people in India, they know what tribe they're from. Those people in Africa, they know what tribe they're from. They understand their dialect. They understand their lineage. We don't. We can sometimes be fucking on our cousins because of what happened to us. Those other groups don't have that problem. And so at some point, we have to start looking at our disposition compared to other people. I'm not saying that those things don't work. You can have a male order bride. That definitely can work. You don't necessarily have to know a person to fall in love with them neither. That also can work. But at the same time, we always keep on forgetting our difference, which makes that's supposed to make us different, right? At some point, we've forgotten these things. Family's supposed to mean more to us than any other group because these people took family away from us. And I feel like we don't necessarily, like, we're so far removed from the plantation and we want to separate ourselves from that experience, even though we want to stand on them shoulders when we got to, we forget that we have a different duty with other people based off of what happened to us in this country.
So this is where I jump in and say 100% agreed. And the psychosis of us, we got problems. Meaning, the biggest issue that we have, and I will continue to scream this and yell this, we don't have our own language. And that is the thing that keeps us really separated from one another. Because we only speak English for the most black Americans, black African Americans, for the most part, we only speak English. Therefore, we don't have that connecting thing for us to separate ourselves from white Americans so that we can go off in our own corner and have our private conversations. That too, we have this mindset of we are true Americans. This country was never born with us in mind. We have yet to act like, move like we are native immigrants. That's what we need to brand ourselves, native immigrants. We need to make
Oh,
ourselves
damn.
understand
Another
that we
movement.
need to be
Damn.
native
That
immigrants.
not another.
Native move. I
Oh,
like it.
God
Why not? Because
damn.
who created black?
Thomas, stop him right here, Thomas. Stop him before we have to. Oh, God damn.
Would you say, Novell?
I mean, I like it. I mean, everybody else is creating one. I mean, we had many names,
Okay.
and people are dictating. Why not?
No, because that then changes the mindset and like, yo, we need to establish our own.
It does.
We need to go back to establishing our own without them forcing us to do it, which they're trying to do right now. We need to voluntarily go back to establish our own, which goes back to what I said about 5 minutes ago. Now you take your kids and you don't let that little motherfucker go to school for liberal arts. Everybody can't be a teacher. Everybody can't be a barber. No, dog. You want to be a barber? Okay, this is what you do. You be a mortician. That's what you do.
I mean, we do
Same
need
thing.
more females.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So now you want to be a teacher? That's fine, but you go get this engineering degree first because we need more engineers. And you can teach others. You can teach others how to be an engineer. You can teach others how to build. We need to get back to understanding, like Thomas said,
Don't keep
we
saying
can't
teachly, because the
we can't
teacher is
do.
the hardest job out there, sis. Let me. I'm in the battlefields now. When you
But
out there
we
in that
can't.
classroom, Thomas, tell them.
Okay, we can't do whatever we want to do because whatever we want to do isn't necessarily good for the community. We need to strategically put people in places and positions to help build the community. You need a dentist, you need an eye doctor, you need a doctor, not these motherfuckers that got doctor behind their name and can't step in their damn hospital and do shit. You know what I mean? Stop that foolishness. Who the fuck needs a doctor in education? Come get the fuck out of here. Let's be real.
We have it, Lee.
Seriously. Unless you are out here establishing your own school district, you don't need to be no fucking doctor, no damn education. Sorry, not sorry. But you a teacher, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You do not need to be a doctor to be a goddamn teacher. Let's be real. You can stop at a master's degree and teach at a fucking university. Stop the foolishness. You need a doctor to be a damn social worker? Seriously? I'm a doctor. Oh, really?
Well, my
Oh,
father's a
what's
doctor,
your specialty?
political
What's your
science.
specialty?
I'm like,
Right. What's your specialty? Oh, I'm a social worker. Motherfucker, you ain't no damn doctor. You can't prescribe shit. But get
You're
your
gonna
ass
have
out
to
there and get a job. That's all you prescribing.
look.
You know what I mean? You handing out a damn leaflet about a website you need to go to get some damn services. Let's stop this foolishness. Spending all this damn money on foolish shit. You ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Folk want to run around here, going back to what Thomas said. You know, we purposely separate ourselves. Folk want to just run around here with letters in front of their name or behind their name. For what? What the hell is that accomplishing? What is that accomplishing for the collective? How are you able to use that to pivot things forward, sideways, back, however you need to pivot it, or to to help somebody else step up or get to that next step, that next level? What are you doing with it? You just did it to do it?
Well, for
What,
one thing, one thing you do is you network with other people who are influential in either the same industry you or are similar level to the one that you are going to network with or do projects with. So, say you have a doctorate of agriculture, right? Then you
Mhm.
are going to have an influence with people like her father, who's a political scientist. They help drive together economy. You talk to people in back fucking
but he's
smoky
African
rooms
too. So
with smoky cigars, and when you get done, you have policies that you put forth, bills that you put forth that drive, eventualize it. There is a network, brother, and they won't listen to you if you got an associates of liberal
But that's my
arts
point,
from
Asha.
from
We
Florida
don't,
from Florida Community College.
but we don't need to make them listen. We need to listen to one another to build
correct.
out
We need to
our
move the
community.
masses.
Thank you.
But
So
you
You
can't.
don't
fuck,
need a
fuck,
PhD to move the
fuck
But
masses.
you.
them.
But you
Yeah,
can't
fuck them.
move.
We don't
But you.
need them to help build our. We have enough talent within our community to make it happen.
But you can't.
If folk were to be about
But,
that business
but you
of
can't make.
communal,
But you can't make it happen as long as we're in this fronting culture. We front.
correct,
We front too much on each other.
absolutely.
We front too much on each other, and that's part of the problem. People are secretly sleeping with men or women, knowing that they got a type, and they don't want to tell people that that's who their type is. They're embarrassed by it. People are lying about the things that they will accept and not accept, making other people feel bad in their situations, knowing that they're accepting that inside of their home with their children, with their family, with their significant others. We front so hard. Like we used to be so anti-fronting that we're so phony now that, like I said again, I think we got to earn the right to call ourselves black because we ain't earned it. Part of this is kind of funny because 2 years ago, I was hearing about this thing equally yoked online. And that was the
Oh,
whole thing. Black
don't
men
get
are
me
not
started.
equally yoked. What happened was Trump got in and got rid of all those federal jobs, and a lot of those jobs affected
Somebody
sisters.
got a mute.
That conversation of equally yoked is no longer a conversation of being equally yoked anymore. Why is that? Because now people don't have those jobs, and it all is off somebody else's deciding they're going to hire you or not. So to me, When we start denoting whether we're better or not based off of what white folks will accept, then that's us fronting on one another. Because you could be a sister with a master's degree and your husband can be a plumber. It does not mean that your husband has no value because he's a plumber, or he could be a carpenter. You don't have to always bag the cat with the corporate tie and suit on. Why can't you mess with the brother who got on the coveralls that's fixing up on the cars? He can fix your car. He can be your gardener, right? He can put in your HVAC system. It's just how we talk about each other and how we front on each other. That's the problem.
So the question I have while we're on this, equally yoked in the light, after 25 years of marriage, Tina Campbell, the sister from Mary, her husband Teddy, filed for divorce. Now we all know a couple of years ago they had the reality TV show going on, and come to find out he was cheating on her. So when the news broke, because they settled things, they got back together. They
cheating on her with a man or woman.
Well, I wasn't going into that, but anyhow,
okay. I'm just asking.
When the news broke, I got hits like, "Oh my God, see this? What I'm talking about?" Like, yo, but ain't you the one that says better to leave than cheat? I'm just trying to understand what's going on right now. Maybe he wanted to go back to his cheating ways, and he said to himself, "Hey, you know what? That's not right. It's not right to put you through that. Let me just go on and leave." But the pastor, I wouldn't have done that. What's happened to the commitment? They worked it out. That's their marriage. That's what they chose to do. They got back to it. It seemed to be going well. For whatever reason, they fell off. He fell off, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he's choosing to leave versus continuing to put her through some BS. Is that not the right thing to do?
I think it's the excellent way to do. Save a life. Please do that.
Right. Rashi, is that not the right thing to do? Is it not right for him to be like, you know what?
Not only will it save his life, it might possible save her life as well.
The life you save might be your own.
Might be the one that's halfway when you look at that fatal, potentially fatal mistake. Oh my goodness, of a second of just 1 second of feeling so invalidated, so like your time wasn't worth it, your love, affection, it wasn't worth it. And you just feel like it in just 1 quick second, but the ramifications are lifelong. And yes, the marriage is over. Because once a man know that you could kill him, it's somehow, why y'all act funny like that when you think maybe she'll kill y'all?
Well, I think Rashi is
self-preservation. What the hell you talking about? Why you act funny?
I think Rashi, though, the one thing that we have to be
we know sometimes that y'all might kill us. So well, why y'all be acting so funny?
I mean, I think that, to be honest with you, I think that all of it is crazy when you start thinking about killing somebody in general. I think that like that's the extreme. And here's the thing: this was a level of people not really sitting down having dialogue amongst themselves and really working through their differences and getting some bad advice. The best advice I've gotten, and I got it too late in my marriage, we were done at that point. But the best advice that I got was, when you have situations that you need to work through, you shut down the rest of the world and y'all focus on each other. And you have to focus on each other, tune everybody else out. Whatever your reasoning is about anybody else, you X that out, and you don't allow other people to have a say-so, and y'all fixing it. Y'all fix it. Whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, outside of work and doing the necessities with your children. You don't allow other people to get into your relationship. And what I would tell you, what I see online is there's too many men and women who are entertaining people based off of likes, hearts, and comments. That dopamine high that was not there in the 90s. We keep going back to slavery. No, this is a Jerry Springer, Maury Povich / Facebook, Instagram problem. You remove those situations out of our life, and people really had to deal with the folks in their house versus having a work boo or having a Facebook boo that you fawn on over the pictures, and you somehow end up in a group with this man, or you end up in a group with this woman, and you're commenting on all her pictures and she's commenting on all your pictures. and things of that nature. We are not setting ourselves up to be content in relationships because we're always looking at the other option. And so how could you ever be full, Sister Rashi, if you're always looking at Lee plate or you're always looking at my plate? And then don't add the people that go both ways. Now you go both ways. So you like men and you like women. So
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
looking at, you ain't gonna never be content on the social media platform because there's plenty of both to look at all day, fawn over and sexualize. So I think that that's what we are really fighting.
Okay.
We're fighting the urge of social media, and the question that we have to ask ourselves collectively: can we leave these platforms to save our relationship? And I don't think many people are willing to.
Okay. Precise logic.
Mhm.
I want to. That was an extreme. Okay, here we go. During slavery, the black family was forced to be together, and I think today we're not going to come back together until we're forced to again. The situation must become so bad that we'll have no other choice, just like before. That's an interesting concept, Precise. And I wanted to make sure I verbalized it because it taps into this idea of when it gets dire. All right, when forming a relationship and keeping it together, even when the other person might it might be the last thing you do is love this other person and be forced because of the situation to stay together. I'll speak again on the fact that the spark for this conversation was a relationship that of two people who were divorcing but did still lived in the same house. If that does not speak to a situation, because usually the man go get him a bachelor pad, right? Or she go take the kids and stay with her mama or her
Not in this
sister.
damn economy.
But in this economy, he can't go get him an apartment. She can't go move her in with mama. Mama's in a home with the where she can't bring the kids and shit. And so where do you go? You stay your ass in that house and you make it enough, as they say in Friday.
Mhm.
And the make it enough, I believe, is what makes you have to be. That's the last act that you get. You make it enough.
Gotcha.
But can I
All
ask
right.
a
So
question though? Why do we always act as if these relationships go this way based off of somebody being like, we talk about our relationships like they are arranged relationships? I do want to point that out. Like somebody had to give over a diary to be with a person. It almost like we're reenacting over and over Color Purple. Like, when Mr. got a chance to pick up Celie, and then the woman is always looked at in the end of the relationship like it's just a Celie situation where she just been getting her ass kicked the entire time, and there was never no happy times, and they never decided that they wanted to be with each other, and she just been forced to do this for the last 25 years. And I feel like what happens a lot of times is that we don't know how to separate this, because most of the time in relationships, it's a short amount of time where things are bad. But I also feel like we're not coaching couples up to admit what's wrong, to deal with what's wrong. And if you cannot find an amicable way to separate, then we make sure that we protect both parties in separating. Because sometimes people do need to step in and referee, but this is also why you need to belong to either a church, a mosque, a social group, or something if you are married. Because sometimes just you and your friends, because the man got his friends, they got his back. You got your friends, they got your back. And if he's cheating, more than likely his friends is helping him cheat, or he might be hiding it from his friends. And if you cheating, maybe your friends are helping you cheat, or they don't know you cheating. But either which way, your friends got your back. They may not have the couple's back. And we don't assess our friends off of, hey, my man, that's my wife. I need you to be more pro us than pro me. Hey, my sister, I know that you're my friend, but I need you to be pro us more than pro me. We don't have that type of friends. And I'm telling you, that's the reason why a lot of our relationships are failing today. We're not making a conducive environment for relationships to be healthy. I will tell you one last piece. I knew a man that was paying all the bills. All the bills. His wife was messing up so much money. When he went to buy a house, he found out she had 3 credit cards that she maxed out at $5,000 per. that he had to pay for before he could even put the down payment to a house. That woman divorced him over an argument over ice cream that he didn't want to take his kids because he was sick and was on chemo. When he was on chemotherapy, he got a knock on the door.
She was cheating.
He got a knock on the door and got the paper served to him saying that they were getting a divorce. That man left her a house. He left her a lot of money that she didn't have to move out, and he moved out. But at the same time, no one talks about those types of situations. And I'm just saying, we're going to have to, it's imperative. Every time somebody dies, we talk about this black male and female relationship as if it's always forced. And it is not. When we are in love with each other, it is a beautiful thing. And I just wish that we would talk more about that beauty than we talk about the pitfalls. We're so ready to sell the story about how bad it is. Well, can we sell the stories about how great it is? At some point, like I know everybody likes a great tragedy, but damn, y'all watch all these white rom-com movies and all these white romance novels they read. Y'all don't got no black ones? I goddamn, Victor Newman had been breaking up with Nikki for like the last 60 years. Oh, Young and the Restless. And all y'all want y'all the black version of Victor Newman. Goddamn.
So I'm trying to get Joseph to comment. He says that
that's my boy, Joey Brown. Joey Brown.
Yeah. That's what I cancel in premarital counseling. I really want him. I asked the question of what's the most common challenge that you see new couples face. Hopefully he'll respond before everything's said and done. Rodney, I know you just got in. I know you just want to listen to the rest of the show. That's cool. I do want to acknowledge last night that I think it was your AG called out the gathering, said that he just left the gathering last night, and the question that you all posed to him, I think it was the Attorney General, and he was saying that he didn't call the gathering out by name, but he said he just left a meeting on the historic West Side in which the folks gathered, asked about voting and how secure the elections were looking for the upcoming election. So I wanted to acknowledge that, people do come to the gathering regularly, and when Rodney Smith call them out, they call out, they come out hard. No, Novell, you don't have to type. I'm gonna let you get in here directly because you are on stage. So whenever you want to take yourself off mute, you can. We got about 12 minutes left of the show, so I wanted to get your last comments before we start to wrap up. Is there anything you wanted to say before we get out of here and let you go back to just listening? Okay. She took herself on mute. Go ahead. I'm not gonna cut you off.
No, I was just, what Thomas is always talking about, I was just basically saying what we see online is always the battle of the sexes. How can we start having more love stories? So when I talk about business, I don't mean it just being transactional. How can we build each other? Because the thing is, in marriages or anything that I see in couples is always something to do with money, pitfalls and disagreements and seeking validation from other females or seeking validation from other males who are not your partner. So we need to start having real conversations about those things. And it's not just in marriage, it's just in all of us. We grow out of each other sometimes. So we grow out of relationships.
But is that because we fail to keep in connection? Meaning, to your point, we are still two individual humans going through this experience of life, be it we're married or not. Is it
Correct.
not important for us to check in every now and again to make sure that we are growing together? Is it not important that we do share good times together so that we know and that we stay connected and we stay on course? You don't have to be anal and have a whole damn flow chart written out about this where we want to be in 3 years and da da da. You know what I mean? But it's like, let's take a vacation together. Let's make that a constant thing. Let's make sure that we take some time away from everything and everybody just to be with one another.
That require team players. And
Sir?
Players, plural.
Team players. Yes. But when you
Yes.
have one of the players or both of the players who are operating from a individual
A self.
aspect, it can't
Right.
happen. And I do want to say this piece to young couples and people who are thinking about coupling. If you talk to people who have been married for over 10, 15, 20 years, they'll tell you they fell in and out of love multitudes of times. They've
Yep.
stayed the course. They fell in and out of love, but the respect stayed. And I think that sometimes we look at the hallmark version of love and we think that's what's supposed to last, or being in love that happens for 50 years. No, you typically respect your relationship. That's why you don't step out of it. You typically respect that person. That's why you don't try to harm them. But the other piece is that there's a second breath, a third breath, a fourth breath, a fifth breath, and you fall in love with that person again because you discover something else about that person. We're not giving people that chance to get those second, third, fourth, and fifth breaths. We're breaking up because we expect the love story, which is only fantasy, to continue in a spell for quite a long time. That's not a reality of marriage. That's not a reality of coupling, friendships, or anything else. That is just a fantasy.
Yes, I agree with that. So Joseph, Brother Brown did chime back in. He says, I want to read this before we get out because we got 9 minutes left in the show. To my question about what's the challenge that he sees most young couples face as he's doing premarital counseling. He said the forever myth. Once you say I do, every problem seems to be a forever issue. He gonna be like this forever. She gonna be like this forever. That drives people to divorce quicker than anything else. To Thomas's point, to your point, to my point, you're absolutely right. The fantasy, like dog, this is not a Disney movie. You know, we are going to disagree. We don't have to agree on everything. Marlon's point, it's about duty over your partner. You're absolutely right. It's about duty and commitment. Those are the things that you need to focus on. That does not mean that it's absent of the feeling of love, but it is about duty and commitment. Are you dutiful to your partner? Are you committed to your partner? There will be hills, valleys, peaks, and the nine. Are you willing to see it through no matter what? There are certain situations, I understand it. You need to go your separate ways. But most of the crap that we go our separate ways for is just that it's crap. To your point, Thomas, those folks who have been married 50, 60 years, they've all been through those things. And you know what they do? They push through. You're right, Rodney. Forgiveness. They push through. They understand that this is a human experience. Shit is going to happen, but they understand that there's a greater goal, there's a greater mission. It's the commitment and duty. It's not always going to be roses, rainbows, and sunshine. Some days it's going to rain. Put on a damn jacket, get to work. Get to work. You don't get to call off work because it's raining. You don't get to call off work because it's snow.
Can I
It
ask?
is what it is. Sometimes you got to lace up and push on. Go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
Nope, I just was waiting. Here I go, trying to listen and make sure. Yeah, it's my turn. But yes, questions to men, just to you men, and not your past, currently where you're at in life. If you were to be cheated on, and it was, I don't want to call it a mistake, but when someone cheats or goes the other way, whatever, can you forgive and can you move forward?
Yes, if the relationship is in good standing and, obviously there was something wrong. So my first question is, what did I not do to give you that understanding that we were still good, that you are still safe, I'm still safe, and we're moving in the right direction? That's my first question. Now, if it's just you just totally lost it and you've totally lost respect for me, that's a different situation. But if you got caught up in the moment, this is a human experience. Things happen. Um, I wouldn't like it, but I think I could work through that.
Okay.
You know. So yes.
And I'm gonna push your ass down the flight of steps when I find out. So I'm sorry.
It's for the men. We
So
know what
There
you're
go
gonna do.
my shit. All right, look.
Rodney, did
Thank
you
you.
answer?
Thank you,
murder.
Sister Noel. Rashi, what you got? What you got to wrap up with? We got 5 minutes left in the show. What you
All
got?
right, as always, I'm trying to make sure y'all understand I'm in the struggle. And as an educator, we're coming up on the standardized testing season. Please, as parents, grandparents, uncles, and aunts, try to talk to children about what it means to be tomorrow's nation, how important their ability to cognate, understand, comprehend, read, calculate, enumerate, analyze, evaluate, and express as a human condition is important. And we clock that. We clock that as a state. And then collectively as a nation, it means something on a national level of what we're going to be able to do in the future. Please talk to your children. Make sure they eat. Make sure they go to sleep. Get their asses in the chair in front of the computer. It's not a paper anymore unless you special needs. Get their asses in that seat and ready with the attitude of showing what they know, because they know more than we say. They know more than we say. And so that's where I'm going. That's where we are as a nation.
Gotcha. Thomas, what you got?
Man, it's another beautiful week in the world of the watch. I am once again excited. We did answer the bell to Brother Rodney's challenge, but we're going to extend that challenge to raise more money, so that we can make sure that this app is getting put in people's hands. One of the things I thought about with the death of the sister in Virginia and some of these deaths around the country was not necessarily the panic button, but the aspect of men and women had a therapist that they could have access to when they were feeling this urge of violence that can calm them down and talk them down. Would that be better for us in society? And I believe so. I believe that we talk about mental health all the time until it's time to really need it. And that's what we're pushing here. We want to make sure that we expand the app with adding those therapeutic supports 24 hours around the clock because we feel like it's on us to solve us. It's not on anybody else. And I feel like sometimes we point fingers at the time of tragedy instead of trying to reconstruct and make sure that we do not reproduce the tragedy over again. We missed that point. So if you have not downloaded the Watch app, you can go to actually www.12watchapp.com and register. Or you can go to thewatchapp.org, or you can go to jointhewatchapp.com. But sign up. If you need it, your family need it, or whatever, get down with the watch. And thank y'all. This was a great show today. I will say, Brother Precise said he wants to see a part 2, a continuation of this conversation. He must have he probably missed Rodney's voice on the topics. So
That's what he did.
Rodney back in the general, and we really have a good old conversation.
That's what's up. Rodney, do you have anything to add, or you good?
2 days ago was Emancipation Day, and it was also the 23rd anniversary, 63rd anniversary of Letter from Birmingham Jail.
That's what's up. Look, what I got is, first and foremost, continued prayers for my brothers and sisters in arms that are forward deployed right now, downrange, dealing with this madness that was started by us unnecessarily. Secondly, a message to the president: leave the Pope alone because he will fuck you up. He from Chicago. He will beat your ass. Let me just be clear on that. Third, I will say you is not Jesus, so let that be too. Please let it alone. And last, as we always say about this time, if ain't nobody told you they love you, we do it, and a damn thing you can do about it. Follow us on YouTube. Until next week, good peoples, be good, be safe.